Hello, and welcome to Doc's Electronic Repair. Today, I will be fixing an iPhone 12 screen.
Man, that was weird. I don't know. Voice did a weird thing there for a second. All right, here's the 12. And it's been very badly damaged. In fact, the casing is a little bit messed up as well. We're going to straighten that out later on in the process. It's actually broken right where there's a mystery button. It's really just a cover for a 5G Wi-Fi or 5G antenna. All right, pinalobes, 2 of them, bottom of the iPhone, always, at least so far. 12 is different. This is the first time they completely switched everything around. The ribbon cables are actually on the opposite side from the going back to the 7. They've been on the right side. Now they're on the left side. So just be careful while you're prying. That's the only reason I tell you that. So we are just getting it off of there. It was kind of pushed in. Yeah, it's on the left side on this one. It's usually on the right side. So everything's backwards. Because Apple. That's why. All right. So got it open. Ribbon cables are all pretty much the same. They've got 2 for the bottom and 1 for the top. That's how it's been. We're still going to be using the tri-tips. This is the bottom panel that holds, it has the display ribbon cables as well as the battery. So that's what we're going to be doing first. 1 and 2, pentalobe. I'm sorry, not pentalobe, tri-tip. They do appear to be different sizes. So make sure you know where they came out and where they go back in. All right, lift your little cover off, and there's your battery. Ribbon cable, go ahead and pop that guy up. You don't want any more power on this, because that's not safe to repair it with it powered, with power running through it, its veins. Fingernail, sponger, whatever it is, as long as it's plastic or made of fingernail, you should be all right. All right, first ribbon cable is there. Second one is actually underneath. And pull it up as well. All right, now we're going to move up to the top assembly. There are 4. They are all tri-tips as well. Probably different sizes. Put them in a pattern so they go back in the same pattern. It's very strange. It looks like they just completely flipped it, and I don't know why. I don't know if there's actually a real reason why they did this, but the battery's on the other side on the last few generations, and all the ribbon cables are on the other side. Who knows? This one has a little retainer, a little tab that goes in there. So you kind of have to angle it out, pull it out like that, but sideways and then out. You can see that little tab. I'll show you it here in a second. The little tab sticking up that I just touched. So that kind of retains it on one end, kind of with a lever action. All right, 1 ribbon cable for the display. Oh, here's that little tab that hooks into a little part, a latch type deal. All right, so we got our screen off, our old screen. Now we're going to go ahead and get the display assembly, the stuff we need from the back of the old one. Has all your facial recognition stuff, your front camera, your flood illuminator, all that good stuff. It is paired, as always, to your phone, so you can't just replace it if you break it. Oh, before we do that, we're actually going to test the new screen just to make sure. And I sped it up because these ribbon cables are just ridiculous. They don't want to sit right. I just mess around and waste time trying to get them to seat. All right, give it some power. Fire up our new screen just to make sure that it is good so we don't have problems later. It actually powered on perfectly. I had to put some charge on it and it works just fine. So now we go ahead and pull our new screen off. Battery first, of course. Unplug the battery, and then also make sure to unplug the battery first. Customers don't like it when you break their expensive phones because you shorted them out. Luckily, that has never happened to me. Knock on all the wood in the world. All right, here is our assembly from the back of the old screen. We have two here, 1 and 2. Those two are tri-tips and those two are Phillips. No reason, just to make it difficult for people to repair. They could have all been one, but whatever. These are all different, very different. One of the tri-tip ones is actually just has a giant retainer on it. So they definitely need to go back where they came from. So once you get all 4 of those out, it does very similar to the last few generations where the speaker and camera and such, not the camera, I'm sorry, speaker and microphone and such lift up backwards, and then it's got a bunch of ribbon cables that are adhesive with a bunch of the other specialty sensors and whatever the heck. But one thing I did notice on this, even from the 11, that's not a very good shot. Sorry about that. But basically I'm giving it heat, 100 degrees Celsius, gets the adhesive hot enough and doesn't burn up any components. And so I'm prying up on these components to get them out. Now, they are all connected with ribbon cables, and these are the smallest ribbon cables I have seen so far. They are crazy small. So that also makes them crazy fragile. I'm not a conspiracy guy, but I think they do this on purpose. For people wanting to try and fix them, they break these ribbon cables, and then they got to get a whole new phone because it's a... Anyway. Luckily, I'm a professional and amazing, so it came out. But look at that little guy. He's just a little guy. He's strong but mighty. Small but mighty? Okay, whatever you want. All right, same deal on all the previous, back to the XRs and 10s. Each little sensor has a little hole on the old one as well. You put it back where it came from, but on the new screen, they will all fit in their little brackets and holes and all that stuff. And then you flip your speaker assembly back over it. And as long as it looks good, you can wiggle it around. Everything is seated where it needs to be, and the screw holes are right at the level they need to be. You are pretty sure that the components are in the right slots and holes. So put your Phillipses back in. I always do it that way because that's the tip I already have, and I only have 2 screws of Phillips on this phone. I can put that bit away for the rest of the repair now. And that saves you literally 1 entire second. All right, and then your 2 tri-tips. Go back where they are. See, that one's got the big head. That's the big head tri-tip right there. All right. So our new screen is prepped and ready to go. The only thing left we have to do is clean off all the old adhesive off of this one and bend our frame back out. Because I'm afraid these screens fit real tight against the frame, and so if even a little bit of the frame is bent in, it will put a stress on that screen, and they're very thin screens. They will break if you don't. It's not pretty. The Customer knew about it. Obviously they knew about it. They did it. So it's not going to look like a brand new phone, but it's going to be functional, and that's what they asked for. Now, this adhesive is a lot tougher than the last few generations. I don't know what it's made of. Maybe plutonium, possibly adamantium. Who knows? But I'm taking some pliers and bending our frame back out and just kind of tapping it back down so the aluminum is not sharp. It is not going to look perfect, but it is going to be functional. Yeah, and under there is the short range 5G dealie. That's a little window, is what that little button looking thing is right there. Luckily, it didn't break any further than that, but that sorted it out enough with a little bit of hammering and the bending with the pliers. We got it back to good enough. Safe. We got it back to safe. And that's what we need. This aluminum is very fragile. Okay. New adhesive. Same deal. If you've done one, you've done a million of them. Didn't change with this generation, even though everything else seemed to have. And it will still pop up and not play well with you if you don't stick it down. All right, so top ribbon cable on, and then the bottom one on. I have this sped up because I fumbled with it for a good minute straight, and it's embarrassing, and I hated it. But that's what happened. I had to go in for reinforcements and get the black plastic pry tool, because it was time for the big guns. It's just a weird angle is what's happening. You don't want to put this screen frame on the adhesive, and you want it to be far enough out. Anyway, so just fiddle with it. You'll get it. And there's your battery. And lastly, we do another test. Looks good. Make sure it all functions now with all the components on the back of the screen. I do that off camera. Look good. All right, everything tested. So now it's time for final assembly. We need to put our brackets back. Start with the top one. See, I got to angle it in like I angled it out. It kind of slides back over. That's new for this phone. And still the screws are teeny tiny. That is not new. Again, all tri-tips. 000s, I believe. It's the one you always use when you're fixing these phones since the iPhone 7. That guy. All right. Top bracket in place. Finally, we put the bottom one on, which is the display and battery. Retains those as well as other things, but those are the ones we care about right now. And there's just two little tri-tips on that one. You can see up top the frame is a lot straighter than it was. I did do a test fit to make sure the screen would fit before I put the adhesive on, or the adhesive gasket, just to make sure. So you don't want to slam it down into there and then it cracks your screen and you're back to swear words. All right. And finally, pentalobes. Just the two, same as always. Screw them down, turn them on, and you will be having a successful repair. Could have sped this up, but we didn't, because then how would we talk? We wouldn't be able to talk like this. It wouldn't have been as much fun. All right, power it up. Fire it up. Yeah, and it fits just perfect, and that's it. You did it. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, and comment. Appreciate y'all. Peace.